Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for being here for the Veterans Whiskey Club live stream for April 2026. It is already freaking April of 2026. This year is going by way too fast, guys. The last few years have been it's quite crazy. We got to slow it down. Tell the world to slow down a little bit. It is going crazy. All right, so we got a great show for you tonight. Like I said, my name is Mark. I'm an ambassador for Warriors and Whiskey's Veterans Whiskey Club. We do this every month, the first Saturday of the month. We have a Veterans Whiskey live stream. That way, if you know any veterans or you are a veteran or you just support veterans, this is a good place for us to get together once a month and have a very structured conversation about military events that happened in the current month. When it comes to people that are no longer with us, we honor the fallen and raise a glass to those who went before us and are no longer here. We also talk about military history events, Medal of Honor recipients, and talk about current military news. And there's a lot going on right now, current military news-wise. You guys know that. But first, the thing that I really like to promote is veteran-owned whiskey. Every month, I show you a different bottle of veteran-owned whiskey. Now, I can show you different bottles from the same distillery as long as it's a different spirit. Like if they put out a small batch and they put out single barrels. Like this month, our veteran whiskey of the month that we're focusing on is from Willies Distillery in Montana. Now, if you think this bottle looks familiar, it's because we had the Devil's Brigade as the veteran whiskey of the month, and I've definitely put a hurting on that bottle, and I've sent some samples out to you guys. So the Devil's Brigade was a previous focused or veteran-owned whiskey of the month that we focused on. Excuse me. This month I have not tried their standard bourbon. The Devil's Brigade is a mix of Canadian whiskey and their own whiskey in honor of the Devil's Brigade. Now this, to my understanding, nice cork pop. I'm going to do a fresh crack bottle review with you guys of this veteran-owned whiskey. Now, Willie out in Willie's Distillery in Montana, he's a combat veteran. He was a U.S. Army Ranger, and then he went Special Forces Medic, and now he's in Montana making whiskey. Where's my U.S. Army glass? Since this is a Army veteran, put it in my Army glass. Cheers, guys. Thank you for being here. I already put it up on the board. The Willie's Legion Private Reserve Bourbon Whiskey. It is 40% alcohol by volume. It's 80 proof. And it says 1919 on the neck tag there. On the back, it says, chartered in 1919, the Montana American Legion spent over a century honoring service, supporting veterans, and building community. Okay, so this Willie's Distillery proudly dedicates this bourbon to those moments that the people who love them. A portion of the proceeds supports Montana Legion, honoring memories and bonds that we'll never forget. Soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, raise a glass, share the story, carry the legacy forward. It's a lot of good stuff. So this is batch number 2. It was $55 at my local PX, or Class 6 rather. And cheers to you guys. Oh, I didn't pour some in the infinity bottle, did I? Or did I? Did I? I don't remember. Do it again. I always pour the first glass into the infinity bottle. That's how my infinity bottle gets so good and so full. Well, it has a nice full mouthfeel. Nice coating of caramels, vanillas, and barrel char, oak. It's a really oaky whiskey, especially for only being 80 proof. Let me share with you guys real quick the website for Willie's Distillery. Willie's. There we go. Oops, I went to the wrong one. Gosh. Sorry. Bear with me a moment. I want to show the website to you guys. If you look at the video description below, you'll already see that I have Warriors and Whiskey. I have their site on there as well as their Instagram. Willies Distillery, I have their website and I have their Instagram already pinned on there. And April 1, because we're going to drink some April 1 here in a minute as well. But thank you guys for all being here on time for formation. And let's do a quick roll call. Who is in the chat? Appreciate you guys being here. I see the Rye guy here. So what's up, Charles? Good to see you. James Morgan from across the pond. Good to see you, sir. The Rye guy. James Morgan, Rye guy. You guys talking to each other. Cool. Gerald jumped in here. What's up, Gerald? Good to see you. Eric Gunderson. What's up, Eric? Speaking of Eric, I hope that somebody can turn on a timer every 10 minutes. Remind us that we need to drink more water than we're drinking whiskey. Make sure you are taking care of yourself, or else you can't take care of those around you. And like I said before, if you guys know of any veterans that need people to hang out with and drink with, and they don't want to get a DUI, they don't want to drink and drive, tell them to log on here every month. Send them my email, all that good stuff. Tell them to come hang out. Mr. Mom is in the house. What's up, Orlando? You have the water timer already going. See, you had it in there before I even said anything. Thinking about the second person that has not been found. Oh, snaps. Do we have their name? Donner, if we have their name, got to put them on the board. Because I thought one of them passed away. Are we just missing one? Clarify that for me. Because if they passed away, I want to put their name on the board when we honor the fallen. Dave is in the house. Gandy Road is here. Dave V is in the house. Appreciate you guys being here. Rob, the shit show supervisor. Appreciate you. Bourbon and Balls is here. What's happening? Good to see you. I guess let me put the link in because I do open the bar up. Now, I don't want to scare anybody away if you are not military. This is for Lottie-Dottie, everybody. Don't be shy to jump in or jump on screen if you're not a veteran. It's just an open bar for us to talk about military topics, military subjects, military history, all that good stuff. They rescued the second guy. Oh, roger that. That's awesome. Good to hear. Great shots here. Good to see you, Great Shot. And Jerry Black is in the house, fellow Army vet. Jerry, I don't know if you saw, we're drinking an Army vet's whiskey from Willies Distillery in Montana. This is their Legion Private Reserve. Always got to give a shout out and support local craft distilleries and veteran-owned distilleries, and this is both. It is a Pacific Northwest local craft distillery, and it's veteran-owned, and so I love it. I love the brand. Love to get them on the show if I can. And like I said, I have their links in the video description already. Let's see if I can share their website here real quick. Hold on a second. There we go. Drinking at Yinling at 250th anniversary. Oh, hell yeah. I didn't know that Yinling made it 250th. I'll have to find some of that, Jerry. All right, so this is their website, Willies Distillery. Let's go to the spirits. Let's go to the privates, private labels, single barrel. Here's the Legion. This is the one that I'm drinking tonight as the veteran whiskey of the month. Like I said, if I had some of these other offerings from them, I would be able to showcase them as the whiskey of the month another month. I just cannot do the same whiskey twice. This is episode number 36 of the Veterans Whiskey live stream. And so this is the 36th bottle, and I am not going to duplicate bottles because I want to share with you guys all of these great veteran-owned whiskeys with you guys. And I can't do that by showing you the same bottle of Horse Soldier every month, even though I absolutely love Horse Soldier. Anyways, so this is the, you can click here and look at the full label design. and you can click here and actually buy a bottle. Roger that. Let's see. You'll have to click through and mess with it to see if they actually ship to your area or not. You know what I'm saying? But you can figure that out. You're a smart guy. There's no waivers here, are there? I bet you there's not. Also, if you guys are here for the first time, then you will see that I have the poll in the chat. So go to the chat, look at the poll, and you will see that there are 4 different categories. And the reason why I only have 4 different categories is because YouTube only lets me make up to 4 categories in a poll. I can't do 8 categories or anything like that. And that kind of sucks. It's kind of limiting. That's why you see Army and Coast Guard lumped together, Navy, Marines lumped together, Air Force, Space Force lumped together, and then other countries' military. I want to be sure to leave a space for other countries' military because, I mean, this is a worldwide thing. It's a coalition forces. There's a lot of good people fighting that good fight from their country, and I want them to be able to vote there. And sometimes we get some pretty good votes there. Let's take a look at the poll, see how the poll is doing already. Right now, we're at 39% Army and Coast Guard, 30% Navy, Marines, Air Force. Did I RE Force? Goodness gracious! Can I edit this? I can't edit it, can I? Air Force instead of Air Force. You guys know what I meant. The Chair Force had a typo. And then Space Force, then other countries' military is at 12%. Air Force, Space Force, 21. Navy, Marines, 29. So Army, Coast Guard is leading the way at 38% right now. And I can't believe that got past our QA/QC guy. That just Air Force being typo. That's ridiculous. I'm gonna have a chat with that QA/QC guy because he is obviously sleeping on the job. And I already need another pour of this Willie's Legion. It just has that kind of drinkability to it. To after you have a sip, you just want another sip of it. You know. See, we've had some more people jump up in the chats, and Bourbon has jumped on screen. So
can't let you drink long, brother. Appreciate it. Drinking weird stuff.
That's a fancy wine goblet. It looks like a
Glen.
Like a Glencairn it looks like a Glencairn in a wine glass had a baby.
Yeah, and they splooged out 2 blue things. Yeah.
All right. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Saying hi to California Scotty. Thomas Anderson's in the house. What's up, Neo? That must have been just released. They recovered. Yay. Yes. I'm glad I don't have to put more names on the board. Team red, white, and blue. Yeah, dude, I've got to get some of that, the Yinling cans that have that, but we don't usually find them up here. What's up, man? What's up, Ethan?
We need that Evan Williams. We need that Evan Williams bad.
We 100% need that Evan Williams.
Bro, if I see it, I want like a
cat. Pull up a picture and I'll share it.
I don't.
If you guys don't know, if you've been sleeping in a cave or something, the year is 2026, day of our Lord, August 4th or April 4th. Fucking verbal typos happening all over the place. So it is the 250th anniversary of our great country of America, and Horse Soldier has an awesome 250th anniversary bottle that is out right now, but it's out of my price range. I'm just a poor soldier. I cannot afford said bottle. But the Evan Williams 250th anniversary bottle is probably within my price range. But I want both of them. No questions. And that's the one. Evan Williams single barrel vintage bourbon says 117.76. See, the Horse Soldier one I was just talking about. I was talking to Vince. He was on base signing bottles last week, so I got to link up with him and chat with him and one of his buddies. And they said that one of the reasons why the Horse Soldier 250th anniversary bottle is so expensive is because they made 1,776 bottles, and that's it. I thought that was pretty cool. But them having this 117.76 proof, that's hilarious and awesome. I love it. But yes, so if anybody out there finds...
Yeah.
If anybody out there finds that Evan Williams 250th anniversary bottle, let me know.
As far as I have it shared, by the way, Mark. Oh, yeah, you did share it already. Never mind.
I sure did.
What do you call it? Yeah. Supposedly the only two states that have it so far are Michigan and Tennessee. But
I need to get on. I got family in Tennessee.
Anywhere in
and we have friends in Tennessee.
Yeah, but not in that part of Tennessee. Do you have anybody in Eastern Tennessee?
Ooh. Yeah, most of the people I know are like Central Tennessee.
Okay. Well, we'll see what we.
Gotta say, I dig that Army Coast Guarder together. Yeah, so they're both the original defenders of our nation, or the original and the current. Like, they're heck yeah. Air Force is still on the golf course. Yes, they're still on the golf course. And they forgot their spell check today. Old man, Coast Guard, Korean War, combat veteran. Roger that. Thomas is he still with us? It says was. Thank you for always remembering our international military. Yes, lots of people that I've seen on bases or spoken with, or I actually got to run missions with many other different nations in Afghanistan during some of my deployments, to where we were doing missions with others like Jordanians, British, Danish. I did a lot of missions with the German troops and became really good friends with that platoon we were working with. There's just tons of good camaraderie across the board. We're drinking non-alcoholic beer together after missions. It was great.
Where is everybody tonight? Click the link. Come drink on the Veterans live stream. Come on.
Absolutely. 100%. Come and jump on. So if just picked up one last week in Michigan for $45.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the Evan Williams?
Yeah, he is. I said Michigan and Tennessee.
Oh, snaps. Neo.
Need
you.
You are the one, Neo.
I need you in my life right now. Passing through Eastern, make some stops to see what I can find. Appreciate you, Eric.
If you're passing that way, there's a store in line. We could place an order, and you could just roll in and pick it up.
There's my buddy Rob, Whiskey Edition.
Cheers, Rob.
Seattle native. Good to see you, my friend. Your dad was a big red one in Vietnam. I don't think I know that. I don't think I knew that. So if you put either a name or a nickname or something that you want to share, what's up, Orlando? And same with you, Neo. Anything you want to call him as of right now, I'm going to write it on the board as Neo's dad and Rob's dad, Whiskey Edition's dad. And if you want to have, because we're about to raise a glass to the fallen. So if this is your first week, or if this is your first time here at the Veterans Whiskey Club, after we showcase a veteran whiskey of the month, the next thing we do before we get on to anything else is we honor the fallen. And so anybody in your life that was either a family member or a battle buddy or someone that you served with or whatnot, if the day that they passed away or the day that they were born was in the month of April, then we are going to put their names on the board and we're going to raise a glass to them, because they are remembered as long as we still tell their name, tell their stories, and talk about them.
Oh, you can do that. Yeah.
I've got two for you. Mark, when you're ready.
Okay.
Yeah, the cognac.
First one would be my uncle, Emilio, Emilio, Jasso, Jaso, Air Force in Vietnam, also a Silver Star recipient. And then a former co-worker, who was in the Navy, Donnie Orr.
ORR, right?
Yes, and both of their birthdays are actually tomorrow. They
Really?
share the same birthday but different years.
They share the same birthday. Wow.
And Donnie was my sergeant at Lancaster PD back in the day.
That's crazy. He has the hat anyway. That generation was all about the veteran hats. The World War II vets, the Korean War vets, the Vietnam vets. I spoke when I was on my way to Montana this week with my kids. We were having brunch in a diner. The guy sitting across from us had an Army hat on, and so of course, after they, like him and his wife, they're much older. They start asking about my kids and like commenting on how cute my toddler is and blah blah blah. And so I asked him about his hat and when he served, and he said that he was in the National Guard during the Korean War. His unit got activated 3 times and then never deployed. And I couldn't imagine the stress that put on him and his family and stuff like that to be in the National Guard. There's a huge war going on, the Korean War, and your unit gets activated to where you're going in every day, doing training, going to ranges, doing all the stuff you do like before deployment, and then not deploying. And he said that happened to his unit 3 times. Absolutely crazy. What's happening? What's up, Marvin? Good to see you, buddy. Grandfather, just World War II Army vet just passed away. Oh, snaps, Rob. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Joseph. Okay.
Donna Pass Whiskey Tim joined.
Joseph. Thank you so much for sharing. I greatly appreciate you sharing, and I'm sorry for your loss. That World War II greatest generation ever. We are losing all of them, man. Like, there are not many of them left. Stinks. They have so much to teach us. And so many people just need to be taught by that generation. I tell you what. Tim, Sean, good to see you guys.
Just realized I never changed my name. Well, anyway.
I got you, buddy. I got you. No worries. I'll cover for you.
Yeah. Cheers, Mark. Good to see you, sir.
Yeah, you too. Let me cheers with you, and then I have to have a sip of water. Mandatory.
Yes, indeed.
Drill Sergeant just yelled at, "Drink water!" Roger's Drill Sergeant beating the heat.
Absolutely. Well, thank goodness. That was just in the last hour. I think they announced that they found that guy who punched
really?
the team.
Yeah, there was some speculation reporting earlier in the day, but they weren't certain. But yeah, it looks like they got him out, so he's safe. So that's good. Yeah, so I guess both people in that F-15 have been recovered, so that's good.
That's great. I know the Iranians were looking for him just as hard because they could stick him on TV and make a show out of it.
They need to bring the kid in.
No, Neo, I've got his name on the board. Thomas Anderson. Appreciate you sharing with us.
That's the thing. We're not even trying yet. Like, this is like half-mast. We're not even.
Yes, all of you guys, please drop links to subscribe to fellow like-minded people's channels. And don't forget to look in the video description. You can see the links to Warriors and Whiskey, Veterans Whiskey Club, their website, their Instagram. Our Whiskey of the Month this month is Willies from Montana. Their Legion Whiskey. Willie was an Army Ranger, and then he went Special Forces as a medic. And so he's an all-star dude, and he's in Montana making whiskey. Absolutely honored to have this as our Veteran Whiskey of the Month that I'm sharing with you guys. And you can find their Instagram and their website already in the video description. So please check those out. It's free to follow. And it's free to hit the like button and all that good YouTube and Instagram stuff.
Well, Mark, I have veteran whiskey covered for a while now. I found this 175 of Heroes today.
Oh, nice.
Well, actually, yesterday. Yeah. So
is that the 2025?
It's the 25. It's not the 23. I was looking for a 23, but those.
No, I got like half a chub there thinking that was the 26.
No, I haven't seen.
I almost pitched a
What's
tent
that?
right here thinking that was the 26. Was out already.
There was only one. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was actually hidden behind a bunch of regular ones. Yeah. So I was like, I think there's blue plastic on the top of that one back there. And sure enough, yeah. So yeah, grab this. So I was happy to find that. But yeah, I still not. I think 23s are all gone. But
All right, so let's see who I've got for this month, for the month of April. My buddy Povolitis. His birthday was April 26th, so I've got to put Sergeant P up there. He was a very good friend of mine that when I went home on my third deployment, I was the IED tech in our route clearance patrol. He was first squad leader. I was second squad leader. So if there was a vehicle issue, any issue with the truck, it was on him because he was more of a mechanic type dude. And if there was an issue with an IED, that was on me because I had all the experience and training dealing with IEDs. And I went home, and not long after I went home, he got blown in half trying to investigate an IED dismounted, which was my job. And I hate that. Hate it. Every day.
Mark, I mean, you know this, but that's not on you, man.
I try to tell myself that, man. So his birthday was April 26th. So I put Sergeant P up there on the board. Sergeant Quiles passed away on April 12th. I'm going to put Sergeant, because we just called him Q. Sergeant Quiles was, he went to Ranger School. He went to Sapper School. He went to Afghanistan 3 times. He was just a stud. And he got killed by a drunk driver when he was out riding his motorcycle back here in the States.
Oh, shit.
Put Sergeant Q up there. I spent the night at that guy's house many times. He was a good dude. Tons of charisma. Sergeant Kabaj. I was with him in Triple Nickel. He died on April 29th. Apparently, when he got out of the Army, he didn't like what was going on. And he died barricaded in his house with a standoff with the police. So Kabaj did that.
It's rough, man. I'm sure that was PTSD related.
Yeah, he had some suicide by cop and stuff going on there. So that's how Kabaj passed away on April 29th. Fuck, dude. My list of buddies is not fun. It never is. But I was keep telling you guys their stories and keep talking about them because that's how they stay remembered. And that's why we do this every month. We got to honor and remember the fallen. Always great to hear. Blah, blah, blah. My old man had PTSD. Always seen somewhere his whole life. Yeah. Thank you for your service. Hey, appreciate you, Larry. Thanks for being here. I'm going to give you guys another minute. If anybody else has any names they want to put on the board, I'm going to start pouring my shot for the fallen. You got to get my Horse Soldier Black Bag. I only drink this when I'm raising a shot to the fallen.
Hey, you know what, Mark? Actually, well, wait. Never mind.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, buddy.
No, we're in the wrong month. I should have done this last month, and I wasn't thinking about it. I mean, I was, but it's fine.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. If you've got someone who should have been on the board last month but you didn't, then tell.
This is such
another story. What's up?
It's such a weird one for me. So his name is Antonio Jones. He was born March 13th. I don't know what his status is. I have some suspicions. But anyway, But so he served in the Marine Corps. He served 5.5 years. He was problematic, let's say. But anyway, I mean, I don't know. Antonio's an interesting person in my life. In some ways, he was my mentor, I guess you would say. But yeah, I mean, I learned a lot of positive things from Antonio, so I'll focus on that tonight. He taught me a lot of discipline and a lot about hand-to-hand combat.
Okay.
And yeah, so he served 4 good years and then re-upped, and there were some problems. But anyway, yeah, Jones, man, not sure exactly where he is. I talked to his cousin about 3 months back, and he'd got out of jail, and he was supposed to be going back home, and he never showed up there. So we're not really sure where he is. So I have suspicions, but anyway, whatever, that's besides the point. But yeah, but I guess to Jones for whatever that's worth. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, thanks for sharing, Sean. It sounds like you're pretty confident in his current status.
Yeah, I mean, I knew the guy pretty well, so
Yeah, I hear you. Eric, what's up, buddy? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. 2 uncles, Russell Anderson. And Joe. Korean War Navy, Korean War Army.
What's up?
Appreciate you sharing, Thomas. Appreciate all you guys. Everybody here, please raise a glass to the fallen, those that are no longer here with us, those that went before us and never got to return. And we remember you as we speak your name and tell your stories, and you are never truly forgotten because we will continue to tell others about you. May you rest in peace until Valhalla. Cheers. Lest we forget.
Cheers.
And like what was just brought up, mental health is a big issue with service members. For all of you guys that don't know, on an average, 22 veterans commit suicide every month. And in recognition and making that issue known, we do 22 push-ups a day in honor of the 22 and just to raise awareness. So if you are willing and able, wherever you are, find some floor space and start pushing it down. Knock out 22. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Oh, goodness. Gotta drink some water after that. Oh, I love it. Lest we forget till Valhalla. Hey, appreciate all you guys raising glasses to the fallen. Greatly appreciate Richie Z, Jerry Black, Ben, CJP. Thanks, Corey. Appreciate all you guys. That's just good stuff. But rest in peace to the fallen. And
hey, Mark, I can't say I've been doing them daily, but I've been trying to get them in occasionally. It's getting easier.
good.
Not quite as fast as you, but
Oh, that sounds like the water timer.
Yep, time for water.
Dude, I'll take another one. That's fine.
Cheers, Cindy. Cheers, CJ.
Cindy's in the house. God bless our troops. Happy Passover to my fellow members of the truck. Find that missing pilot. Yep, they found him. Don't see anyone else doing push-ups. No, there's plenty of push-ups.
Cheers, Gary.
Commandant Lou, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in a while. It's good to see you. All right, so what are we going to do next? We're going to talk about what is going on in the month of April. So let's see here. Military history in the month of April.
The dog.
Does anybody know of a significant historical event, mainly military, that happened in the month of April?
Sure, there's something.
1745. That's a long time ago. April 3rd. That's craziness. April 4th. South Dakota. 1942. You guys know about the Bataan Death March?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds not fun.
The Bataan Death March was definitely
During World
a
War II.
significant incident that happened in the past. And so the anniversary is tomorrow. Today is April 4th. The anniversary of the Bataan Death March is tomorrow. So let's watch a quick video about it. So any of you guys that are here that do not know very much about it, let's learn together. Pour yourself a glass of whiskey, put your feet up, relax, because you don't have to drink and drive tonight. You don't have to drink alone. We can sit back and talk about these military subjects and learn a little bit.
In This Week in Military History, we explore the beginning of the Bataan Death March by thousands of U.S. prisoners of war after the Battle of Bataan in World War II. The strategic importance of the Philippines was that forces based there could control the sea routes between Japan and their newly conquered territories in Southeast Asia. Therefore, soon after their attack on U.S. military forces at Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, Japanese forces attacked the Philippines. The attack overwhelmed the greatly outnumbered U.S. and Philippine forces which had withdrawn to the Bataan Peninsula and the island of Corregidor. The siege of Bataan began on January 1, 1942, and was the first major land battle for the United States in World War II. The force on Bataan numbered approximately 76,000 Filipino and American troops, many of whom were sick and starving due to the lack of supplies during the long siege. After 99 days, the American-led forces were on half rations due to poor planning and dwindling supplies. American General Edward King, commander of the Allied ground troops on Bataan, surrendered his outnumbered forces on April 9, 1942. After their victory, the Japanese military, who had underestimated the number of prisoners, forced the surviving U.S. and Filipino troops to march 60 miles over 6 days with no food or water to their place of internment. Those who fell or stopped were killed. Thousands of U.S. and Allied soldiers died during the forced march. Of the 22,000 soldiers captured by the Japanese, only about 15,000 would return to the United States. The Japanese used similar tactics on other prisoners of war during World War II. The survivors named it the Bataan Death March. News of the Americans' treatments by their Japanese captors was initially kept secret. However, details of the atrocity were released in January 1944 by the Roosevelt administration to reinvigorate the will to fight amongst the people of the United States. Join us next time for another segment of
This Week in Military History.
Dude,
With the
22,000 were captured and only, what did they say, 15,000 made it back? So 7,000 of the ones making the march died? That's a lot. Just saying. So if you guys did not know about the March of Bataan, that was definitely significant. And let's see, Neo brought up the end of the Vietnam War. That's another one that I had queued up because I thought that was a pretty significant event. It was April 30th, I believe. Let's see. Hold on. Share screen. So it's the 50th anniversary. Well, that was last year. So this year's the 51st anniversary.
Yeah, I have a piece of military history that happened this month that I was sort of a part of.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
April 21st, 1989, an SR-71 flying out of Okinawa suffered a catastrophic engine failure near the Philippines and crashed. Both the pilots, well, actually the pilot and the RSO ejected and were picked up in the ocean a few miles off the coast by an outrigger canoe, which is interesting considering they were wearing spacesuits. I was working in Okinawa at Det 1 at the time. In fact, I pre-flighted that airplane.
Oh, wow.
And the Navy went out with a salvage ship and brought the whole thing up because it was only about 200 feet of water. In fact, I don't have them with me to hand, but I actually have a whole set of pictures of it because they brought the wreckage back and laid it out in the hangar and then did the investigation. And then once they were done, they declassified it and allowed us to take pictures of it. And then they actually took it out and dumped it in the Marianas Trench, which is not that far from Okinawa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was tail number 974. April 21st, 1989. There's lots of there's probably newspaper articles about it.
That's hilarious. I love it that they chopped it up and dumped it in the trench.
Yeah, they aren't let anybody else have it.
Exactly.
But kind of like the Bin Laden's body, to where they didn't want it to be a place where, or a thing that people go and like pay tribute to or something. Like just dump them in the ocean. Michael Bonner, hey, appreciate you, Michael. I never served from authority, but I salute those that do. My son is in the Silent Service U.S. Navy. I do have 30 years and counting as law enforcement. Roger that. Appreciate you, Michael. Because of how terrible YouTube is, that they take a significant portion of donations. I would ask people if they want to donate to help support the stream, send it to me on Venmo or PayPal, because YouTube takes like a third of it.
Yep.
Because they're evil.
Accurate.
But Michael, I greatly appreciate you, man. My next door neighbor, I was talking to him and we were working on our fence together earlier today. He's law enforcement. He's been a police officer for a long time, and he works in a shitty city in our area. But yeah, good dude. Greatly appreciate you, Michael, and all those that serve law enforcement. Those of all you guys, especially law enforcement, firefighters, medical personnel. All those people are out working and serving this holiday weekend. So raise a glass to them for sure, and remember everyone deployed.
Yep. Cheers.
All right. So what else happened in the jolly month of April? So a big thing. I hope you're here, Troy, from April 1 Genuine Spirits Company. I hope you're here right now because April 1 is a very significant date for the U.S. Navy. It is the day that they made the rank of chief, right? And so April 1 is this big deal. And so I sent Troy a message and I let him know I'm going to pour a glass of April 1 in honor of another great veteran-owned whiskey. And as significant is the month of April. So cheers to all you chiefs out there in the Navy. I know you guys have a big, significant date with the April 1st. And so I'm going to raise a glass of April 1 with you guys. Cheers to all of you. And it's good stuff. If you guys don't know April 1, check them out on Instagram or go to their website, Genuine Spirits Company. Just good, dude. Or go back and watch the interview I did with them. Troy was on for an interview, and he's in Florida, and so he's on East Coast time. It was midnight his time when we started, but he was just out there drinking and hanging out in his garage while we just hung out and talked whiskey and military for over an hour. It's one of the best things about the show I do, Distiller's Perspective, is that there's no BS that you see in some other interviews. It's just, you know, some veterans sitting down drinking whiskey and talking, telling stories with each other. It was a blast. So if you don't know about that, go check out that episode. It was fun.
Hey, Richie, cheers, buddy. Love you, man.
Oh, Richie Z is awesome. Legendary. All right, so we talked about some of the events that have happened in April. We haven't gotten through all of them yet. We talked about the March of Baton. That was a very significant thing in the month of March. Jerry Black is in the house.
Jerry. What? Sorry.
Nice name, Jerry. Cheers, buddy.
I'm changing it, Jerry. There you go.
I should have changed it.
Wait, show me the can again. Sorry, I was playing with your name. So Yinling, if you guys don't know, if you're a West Coaster, you can't find it out here very often. It's mainly in Northeast beer, but it's great. It's great lager, and they made a tribute to the 250th
Team RWB.
Say again, over.
Right there at the bottom, Team RWB.
Yep, absolutely. Red, white, and blue.
There you go.
250th anniversary. See, I got to get me some cans of that too.
Yeah,
So,
I'm waiting for the 250th Evan Williams release, man. Those are going to be awesome.
Yep, we were talking about that earlier. We got to get some of that. If you guys don't know Jerry Black is an Army Desert Storm veteran. I appreciate you jumping on and hanging out with us. Tim, you know Jerry?
Just in the chat. Yeah.
Okay. Jerry, Tim is from Donner Pass Whiskey. He's a fellow veteran, and he was just telling some crazy stories earlier.
Sweet Cindy. Ethan has not moved since last night. Yeah, that is the permanent spot of Ethan right there.
Goodness gracious. Let's see. What was the other events from April? Hold on, I'm going to scroll through because this site that I've got up, it shows every single freaking day.
Apparently.
April 8th.
Wasn't Bonnie in my seat too at some point?
April 7, April 8, April 9. So yeah, the Bataan March. So in 2004, Wisconsin's Army National Guard Military Police Company, she was the first female National Guard member killed since 1956.
Oh, man. Wow.
The first female Guard member killed in combat since women were authorized to join the Guard in 56. So she was the first female Army National Guard member to pass away, and it was in 2004, Iraq.
Wow.
Hmm.
And her name was Michelle Whitmer. So raise a glass to Michelle Whitmer.
One of many people that should not have been over there. Yeah, cheers to her.
Italy. Man, there's a bunch of stuff for every single freaking day.
Yeah.
In April. Houston, we have a problem. Was April 13th, apparently. I don't know why that came up when I searched for military history, but it's still greatly significant.
Well, back then all those astronauts were military.
Yeah, they're all.
Oh, dude, good call.
They're all Air Force, right?
Right.
Air Force, Marines, Navy, pilots. Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
I mean, is that not true still? Or I don't know what NASA's program is now, but
I do not know either.
I think some of them are civilian at this point, but I think back then in the Apollo days, they were pretty much all military.
Yeah.
Except
I know that the pilot on Artemis,
he's probably military.
Yeah, he's military. I think he's 2 tours. I think is what I heard.
I think maybe the only Apollo astronaut that was not military, the final Apollo mission, they actually sent a geologist.
Why am I highlighting?
Oh well, yeah.
I think he was the only one that wasn't military, and then Mercury and Gemini, they were all military.
Yeah, but I mean, I think every pilot has been military, right?
Most likely.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're collecting rocks, you probably don't need to be military for that. But, but if you're doing the thing that makes you get there, you probably need to be military.
Well, everyone who went, they spent a ton of time with that guy. He versed them all pretty heavily in geology.
Mm-hmm.
I'm disappointed that last site did not have the end of the Vietnam War on there for a significant history in the month of April.
Yeah,
that's okay. We're gonna move on to some great stories of military Medal of Honor recipients after we check the poll. Let's get a status of the poll real quick. So Army Coast Guard is leading the way still at 45%, Navy Marines at 30%, Air Force Space Force 15%, and other countries' military is at 9%. For the poll right now. If you are watching and you have not voted in the poll, please vote in the poll. Anybody in your family or yourself, if you served in whichever military branch, please vote in the poll. We got some good numbers so far, though. Very, very good. But Army's leading the way for sure. Army Coast Guard. But we're gonna look into a Medal of Honor recipient that was in Japan during World War II, and hear about his story. And one of the reasons why I do this is because there's a lot of Medal of Honor recipients, and none of us know their stories because this kind of thing doesn't get shared. It doesn't get taught. You have to know somebody who gives a shit to learn about this story, or else you will never hear about it.
I know a guy.
I know a guy. So Henry Irwin was a staff sergeant in the Army Air Corps during World War II. Let's see, what did Staff Sergeant Irwin do that earned him the Medal of Honor?
Henry Eugene Irwin was born in Adamsville, Alabama in 1921. Raised in a large family, he was compelled to take up work at the age of 10 when his father suddenly died. He later abandoned school in his sophomore year to work in the steel mills and provide for his family. In 1943, Irwin enlisted in the Army Air Corps and eventually became a radio operator on a B-29 Super Fortress. In the winter of 1944, Irwin headed for Guam, leaving his wife of 3 months behind.
Only 3 months,
please. 11 men flew in some of the largest and most dangerous air raids of the Pacific Theater. Among these was the infamous Tokyo Fire Raid.
One night we had Tokyo burning 17 square miles. My squadron was going in at 5,000. And we lost 14 B-29s that night. Most of them carrying 11 to 12 good, outstanding men.
On April 12, 1945, during a routine mission to Koriyama, Japan, Irwin's life changed forever.
We were flying out of North Field, Guam. We were designated lead plane by General May. And we had 75 80 B-29s in the rear. And I was dropping phosphorus grenades so they could identify us, those that were in the rear. They only had about 8 or 10 seconds delay from the time they would explode. And they burned about 2,000 degrees. When they dropped out of the chute in the radio operator position, they explode and give out a vast amount of smoke.
For an unknown reason, a bomb malfunctioned, exploding in Irwin's face and setting him aflame with white-hot phosphorus.
We either hit a air pocket or it was a defective bomb. For some reason, that thing exploded and we were going down. The plane filled with smoke, and my pilot, Tony Seminole, he couldn't see the instruments. And I realized I had to get it out, otherwise we were all going to die.
In a desperate attempt to save the lives of his crew, Irwin grabbed the flaming bomb with his bare hands and began crawling to the front of the plane.
I knew we were going down. Finally got to the cockpit. I asked Roy Stable, my co-pilot, to flip to open the window. And I flipped it out.
Irwin threw the bomb through the co-pilot's window just seconds from disaster. Smoke cleared the cockpit, and pilot Tony Seminole was able to pull the plane out of its dive at only 300 feet. Irwin collapsed in flames.
All my clothes were burned off, and I had flesh peeling off of me, but I was never unconscious.
The crew abandoned the raid and headed for Iwo Jima to try to save Irwin's life. Shortly after the plane landed, a citation was drafted for the Congressional Medal of Honor. His injuries were so severe that Irwin had to be lifted out of the plane through a window. At 5 a.m. the next morning, Major General Curtis LeMay was awakened and given the Medal of Honor citation, which he forwarded to Washington with word that time was quickly running out. The only Medal of Honor in the Pacific was stolen from a display case in Pearl Harbor and flown immediately to Guam to be awarded to the dying hero. On April 19th, 1 week after the incident, Irwin received the Medal of Honor at a field hospital in Guam.
They stole the medal out of a display case to present it to him. That was awesome.
On Thursday, 1 week later, April 19th, and gave me the Medal of Honor.
Irwin was not expected to survive his injuries. His burns prevented him from eating, and he dropped quickly to just 87 pounds. But with the support of his wife, Betty, he endured over 40 plastic surgeries and eventually recovered.
I don't say I'm a hero. We have more freedoms in this country than we realize. But if the youngsters will look and see what price has been paid, because freedom is not free.
Oh, no. You're absolutely correct, sir. Freedom is not free. So we did share that story a couple years ago.
It's amazing he survived.
Yeah, it absolutely is. So even though we've shared that story before, those of you that are here that weren't here a couple years ago when we saw it the first time, I wanted to share it again because I was in Montana all week and I was gathering up fallen trees and pulling down widowmakers and down limbs from the windstorms and the winter storms they had and piling them up and burning them in big piles at my mom's house this week. And when I was looking up Medal of Honor recipients that their actions took place in the month of April, that was one of the first ones that came up. And it just reminded me that when you go to grab something that's hot, your first instinct, the first thing you do is release and let it go and get it away from you. Like when you grab something and it's burning hot, you instinctually let it go. But this guy saw white phosphorus burning inside the plane, which is hotter than anything I've tried to pick up before, I tell you what.
Sure.
And he
I wouldn't do it.
grabs it and carries it to the front of the plane that says, open your window, and throws it out. I'm like, do you know how hot white phosphorus burns? It melts metal.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can burn through steel, can it? Yeah.
It burns underwater. It can burn through steel. It's super fucking hot. And he grabs it and says, we're all gonna die if I don't get rid of this fucking white phosphorus burning in our plane. And so he takes it up to the cabin and says, hey, bro, open your window, and throws it out. That is nuts. That is bananas.
Well, you just hold the sun in my hands.
Yeah, just Thor. No big deal.
Just what it is he just because cojones just carried it.
Yeah. It's like no problem. I got this.
You guys sit back, relax. I'll carry it.
Just open the window. Do me a favor, open the window.
Mark, check your phone real quick if you have it nearby.
Okay.
What's everybody sitting on?
Wine.
You about done with that one?
The last of this one.
I got 12 more.
Are we bottle killing that one?
Oh, we got a man down.
All right. So, are you only hearing the echo on the videos, not on?
Yes, only on the videos.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's very interesting.
I don't think anybody wanted to actually, bring it up. So
No, it's fine.
I was trying to do it covertly.
My echo cancellation is on, and I did not have another screen open or anything of that sort. And so if somebody that's on the screen has another window open that that audio is coming through during the video, those of you guys watching at home, I apologize for that, but I was not aware of it because I can't hear it on my end.
Do you usually mute yourself when you play videos? Maybe.
No.
Yeah, it was weird, but I mean, I think everybody's just like you could still hear everything. It just kind of sounds like it's in a ballpark.
Yeah.
Right. That's weird.
It's okay.
Haven't had that happen before.
Mm-hmm.
With the next one, I'll try muting myself to see if that helps, and if that does or it does not help. Either way, let me know.
Yeah, let's do a test on that though, because you may not hear audio at all if you do that. So let's check that.
If I mute my mic, you should be able to hear the video still.
No, because you like the share should be different audio, Ben. So
hang on, Mark. This platform generally sometimes has an echo cancellation mess up. Maybe turn it on and off. Turn it off and back on again.
That's a fair point, Ben. That's true.
All right, so turning it off, and it's off right now, and turning it back on right now.
Yeah, because sometimes people are muted and you can still hear them. So yeah,
that's very true as well.
Yeah,
it didn't burn through the balls he has. That's right, Ron.
That's right. Freaking legend. Yeah. Man, holding white phosphorus is insane. Like that is so nuts.
That's absolutely wild. And even though, like I said, a couple years ago I shared his story before, I was more than happy to share it again because that was it was one of the first ones that came up when I was looking at Medal of Honor recipients that the actions took place in April. And I was just
that had to burn down to the bone, that's I don't know what his hands look like, but that has to be that's crazy.
It is. All right, so the next one is Leo Thorsness of the Air Force in April 1967 in northern Vietnam. If you haven't heard of him, it's because of all the things I mentioned earlier. Because these great men did great things, and their stories just do not get told. And so let's learn about what happened in northern Vietnam in April of '67. And I'm drinking water.
Sure.
I was raised in Minnesota, and Little House on the Prairie. There is a Walnut Grove, Minnesota. That's where I went to school, grew up, farm kid. And mom, dad, sister, brother, typical poor family, but we didn't know we were poor because, depression, but everybody had a lot of food because we were farmers. Dad was an entrepreneur. I got my take a little bit of a chance mentality from him. My mom was a negotiator. I went to her if I wanted something, and she went to my dad, and I learned negotiating skills there. I had a brother who served in Korea. All four of my brothers-in-law were World War II guys. One was killed. So those were my heroes, family, and good role models for me.
19-year-old Leo Thorsness enlisted in the Air Force in 1952. Though he enlisted during the Korean War, he would receive his wings and commission when the war was coming to a close. Thorsness would serve for over a decade in a peacetime Air Force until 1966, when Vietnam became his war. He was flying a modified F-105 as part of a group known as the Wild Weasels.
I was in a thing called Wild Weasels. Air Force has got to have a code name for everything. Military does. Wild Weasels. Vietnam was the first time there was surface-to-air missiles that could shoot down airplanes. And our job was to find and kill SAM sites, surface-to-air missile sites.
On April 19, 1967, Thorsness was leading 4 planes on a mission over North Vietnam, deep within enemy territory.
It was pretty much of a typical Weasel mission. Like, there'd be 4 airplanes that go in first. I, as the leader, I'd always split my flight of 4 into 2 elements. We'd cover north and south of the target, or east or west, and we'd try to give them twice as much pleasure, the SAM guys, the guys on the ground shooting at us. We had destroyed one SAM site, we rolled in another one, and my wingman got hit. And I told him to head for the mountains, and we were over the flatland south of Hanoi. To get close enough, maybe in the mountains, you could have a chance of rescue. He got in the foothills and the airplane quit, and both he and his wingmen ejected. I could hear the beepers. I homed in on the beepers. You got an automatic direction finder, so I could find them. And about the time I picked up their chutes, the MiG was rolling in on one of them. So I rolled in on the MiG, and he and I got into it, and I ended up shooting that MiG down.
Because his aircraft was low on fuel, Thorsness was forced to depart the area in search of a tanker. Upon being advised that 2 World War II rescue planes, known as Sandys, were orbiting near the down cruise position, and that there were hostile MiGs in the area posing a serious threat, Thorsness quickly refueled and returned to help.
So we come back in and headed back towards that shoot-down site, that area. And Sandy 2, which is their call sign, says, Sandy 1's going in, Sandy 1's going in, the MiG's got him, he's going in, he just hit the mountain. And so he said, help, in essence. Not believing it would work, but I said, Sandy 2, you turn that airplane as hard as you can, right on the deck, it's slow down as slow as you can get, they'll never stay with you. And I'll come in to you, I'll run through you and I'll pick them up. And we did that, and somehow the guy survived, and we ran through them, and all the MiGs jumped on me, he got out. A 105 couldn't turn hard for long because it was a heavy airplane with little bitty wings, but it sure could go fast, 800 knots. And we outran these MiGs right on the deck, and it's going supersonic at 20 feet, over the rice fields. That's exciting in itself. I'm headed out, my backseat and I, Harry and I are headed for a tanker over Laos, and in about 10 minutes, I get this radio call that you never hear in combat over enemy territory. You always use call signs. Cadillac 1, this is green. He said, Leo. Well, that gets your attention.
When it became apparent that an aircraft in the area was critically low on fuel, and that the crew would have to bail out unless it could reach a tanker, Thorsness, low on fuel himself, gave up his chance to refuel and headed instead toward a forward base.
My backseat and I thought, we weren't sure about when we gave our tanker up, we thought we could make it to Thailand and eject the Mekong River. Laos, bad country, Thailand, good country. And so we climbed to 35,000 feet, and when we hit 70 miles from the river, you could glide 2 miles per 1,000 feet in that old airplane. Pulled it back to idle, indicating zero fuel, and not only did we make the river, we made Udorn, which is 8 miles past it, and we ran out of fuel as we were, got it hit the ground. 11 days after I flew that mission, which I finally received the Medal of Honor for, I was shot down. 100 missions was a full tour, and I was shot down on my 93rd mission. So we were so badly hit. We knew we were out of business. I put my helmet against the side of the canopy, had a visor. I couldn't see out. The smoke was so thick, and the stick was just flopped. The rudders were gone. The engine, everything was gone, and we knew instantly we were out. So, and we hadn't been 2 seconds since we were hit, I guess. So we were ejected about 600 knots. But I looked down, and clearly, and I could see muzzle flashes, rifles. It's hard to hide in a parachute. That's really hard. We were probably a mile apart, Harry and I. We were both captured. It's a tribal area. These people have never seen electricity. They've seen it, but they don't have it. We went from absolute high tech to abject no tech. I mean, it was just surreal, but it was happening. They got us to the edge of the foothills, and we stayed there that day, and they interrogated Harry and I separately in a pig pen, literally pig pens. And they take me out and beat you, and I was able to stick with my name, rank, still on my date of birth, so was Harry. And then that night a truck came, and they took Harry first about dusk and into Hanoi, and 18 days and nights of torture at the Hanoi Hilton. It was a very brutal time, and it was very difficult the first time I broke and went past name rank, because I thought I was the weakest man. It was the worst day of my life. Worse than being shot down is when I broke, because I thought, I bet nobody else did. I had about a year of solitary, which is not untypical. That was pretty routine. But when I got in with the other guys, I found out they too had broken. And then with the tap code, I found out everybody that survived eventually went past name rank, and that was very comforting. Not that made me strong, but it made them more equal in my eyes. And I found out I wasn't the worst guy, I wasn't the weakest guy. You know, you get into the prison system and you work your way through it. 3 years were brutal, 3 years were boring. It took a lot of adjusting to get used to that routine of not having your freedom, and that's why freedom turned out to be, no doubt, the most precious commodity we have. But with the tap code, prison tap code, I got a message that said, Leo, did you know that you had been submitted for the Medal of Honor? And I didn't. And so when I came home, a total of 6 years after the action or so, a little over that, I received a Medal of Honor. It's hard for me to convey how important freedom is, and I didn't appreciate it, and I don't know that anyone can until they've lost it. It doesn't happen automatically. It's got to be re-earned by every generation, or at least every other generation. If you let it slip very long, it's gone. I think most feel we're just temporary guardians of the Medal of Honor. We happen to be the guy that was recognized, and it could have been one of many people that did as much or more. They weren't recognized, they were killed, there was nobody who witnessed it. We happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I think we wear it for all veterans. And really, I think we wear it for any American, civilian or military, that does the job they're assigned, no matter what it is, the best they can do it, and they're responsible. I think that's what makes the country.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
Mark, don't forget to unmute yourself. Mark, unmute yourself.
Yeah, so I muted myself before I started that video, and it sounds like that canceled the echoing that was going on during video play on the last video.
Yeah, it sounds yeah.
Which is weird because this is the 36th episode of the Veterans Whiskey Club live stream, and that's the first time I've heard that happen.
Isn't it a new microphone?
No, I'm not using the new microphone because I haven't figured out how to have that work with this program.
Fun.
But so most of the time when you hear about dogfighting, with the airplanes and you hear a lot about World War II. You don't hear a lot about dogfights in Vietnam. And so that pilot who was in dogfights in Vietnam, I thought was a very interesting story that we haven't heard before. And so those of you that are out there watching that hung on for that 8-minute long video of a Medal of Honor recipient telling a story you've never heard before, and you hung on for all 8 minutes of it, greatly appreciate you and your fortitude and determination, because there was a lot of people that left during that. And it's sad that our attention span for such an amazing, heroic story is that short.
They're not necessarily gone. If they don't comment in chat for a long period of time, sometimes YouTube ticks them down.
Could be.
Because the numbers are going back up now as people are commenting.
In fairness, though, Mark probably has a point.
Yeah.
The TikTok has gotten the better of us, I believe.
Oh yeah, big time.
And most people realize how much the MiG was used in Vietnam.
Yes, the MiG was used a lot. You just don't hear a lot about dogfights.
Yeah.
And in 2004 or 15, maybe, I had a few Filipino soldiers in my squad, and they all had Mitsubishi Eclipses, all three of them. And I was like, you guys love your Eclipses. The Mitsubishi also made the MiG, the Zero, the Japanese flew during World War II. I bet your grandpa wouldn't be proud of your car. And they looked at me like, oh, shit. It was funny. I guess you had to be there.
The Dodge Stealth, though, that's the one you wanted.
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
Nobody
wanted
wanted
brain. 3 years later. Yeah.
Literally nobody.
Those things are really rare, though, because nobody wanted them.
Stealth RTs are rare. The regular ones are.
Yeah, the RT, yeah.
The regular ones were just abysmal.
Oh, I guess. All right, so moving to the global war on terrorism.
Leadership.
Oh, boy.
Love of our country.
So I'm a combat engineer, right? In 2003, the first engineer Medal of Honor recipient of the Global War on Terrorism is the story that I'm going to share with you guys right now. And in the Engineer Museum on Fort Leonard Wood, Fort Leonard Wood's in Missouri, that's where engineers go to basic training and advanced training. Sergeant First Class Paul Smith was the first engineer to receive the Medal of Honor during the Global War on Terrorism.
We're here to pay tribute to a soldier.
So I got two short videos on
the
him.
Highest ideals of leadership and love of our country. Sergeant First Class Paul Ray Smith of Florida gave his life for these ideals in a deadly battle outside Baghdad. It is my great privilege to recognize his extraordinary sacrifice by awarding Sergeant Smith the Medal of Honor. Sergeant Smith was leading about 36 men who were using a courtyard next to a watchtower to build a temporary jail for captured enemy prisoners. As they were cleaning the courtyard, they were surprised by about 100 of Saddam Hussein's Republican Guard. With complete disregard for his own life and under constant enemy fire, Sergeant Smith rallied his men and led a counterattack. Seeing that his wounded men were in danger of being overrun and that enemy fire from the watchtower had pinned them down, Sergeant Smith manned a .50 caliber machine gun atop a damaged armored vehicle. From a completely exposed position, he killed as many as 50 enemy soldiers as he protected his men. Sergeant Smith's leadership saved the men in the courtyard, and he prevented an enemy attack on the aid station just up the road. Sergeant Smith continued to fire until he took a fatal round to the head. His actions in that courtyard saved the lives of more than 100 American soldiers.
All right, so he's credited to killing up to 50 enemy soldiers by himself.
With a 50 cal machine gun, which is fucking rad.
I love the 50 cal.
50 cal will paint a pretty picture.
Yes,
it'll paint something.
So I have fired the M2 50 cal many times, but I will openly admit to you guys, the first time I went to Afghanistan, I was a private, like an E1 private, because right after basic training, I got sent to a unit that was already deployed, and so I went straight over to Afghanistan a month after basic training. And so I'm an E1 in Afghanistan. The day after I get there, we go on a 2-week-long mission, And they do a thing in the squad that I got put in to where they rotate who's gunning, who's driving, and who's the dismount with the minesweeper in the truck. And so every day a new guy drives, a new guy guns, a new guy has the minesweeper in the back. And the squad leader was in the front seat. We were driving a Humvee at the time, so there was only 5 of us in the truck. Drinking water. Thank you, Eric. That was Eric's water timer. So I'm new guy. Very first mission. We go out. We find an IED. We take it off to the side. Our guys are gonna blow it off the side of the road. And so they go off in a field with a guy that I went to basic training with, who was in one of the other trucks. Him and a couple guys from his squad and one of the other people that were like taking the IED off to the side of the road to blow it up. They take it off to the right hand side of the road, and I'm in the gunner. I got the 50 cal, and I'm just like looking around. There's mountains all around me because I'm in eastern Afghanistan, and then mortars. Like, I didn't know what they were at first because you don't hear the whistling of a mortar if it doesn't go over you. You hear the whistling of the mortar when it goes by you like that. But when it lands far in front of you, all you see is stuff exploding for no reason. And it's scary. Indirect fire is the worst thing in combat, because if you're shooting at me, I know where you're shooting me from because that's how bullets work. But if they have a mortar tube to where they're on top of a mountain and you're down there in the valley and just it starts exploding around you, and it's absolutely terrible. I hate indirect fire more than pretty much anything else. And so they're just explosions popping off in the field between my truck and where the guys are that went out to detonate this IED, which one of them was one of my buddies from basic training who went to this unit with me, that deployed with me. And so all these explosions happen. I'm looking around. I can't see anything. I can't see where these things are coming from. And then all of a sudden it quiets down. And I'm like, where did our guys go? Because I look out in the field and I don't see anybody. And I'm like, oh, shit, I think they all died. Like, what the fuck? Then all of a sudden I see heads pop out of the tall grass. They're like, is it safe to run back? Like, can we run back? And so they're like, yeah, run back. And so I saw, all of them survived. They were all good. And they ran back. And my squad leader calls for fire to light up the hillside, to have them just fucking blow up everything in that mountain. And that starts happening. And then we didn't know if there was going to be follow on to the ambush. And so I yelled down to the driver, he's a specialist. He's been there for a few years before this deployment, and he knows what he's doing. And I was like, hey, switch me spots. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Switch you spots. And I was like, I know how to drive. I'm 25 years old. I've been driving for a while. I know how to drive. But I'm not going to claim to be a good gunner. I can drive the shit out of this truck, but you should be in the gun right now because I don't have much experience in this spot. And so, like, no shit, first fight I was in, I kind of was like I'm up there in the gunner position firing a gun that I've never fucking really fired before besides just familiarization. And I'm just like, I feel more comfortable driving because I'm probably a better driver than this fucking kid that's 3 years younger than me. And so he did. He switched me spots. Squad leader said, it's probably a good idea. And so we put the more senior guy on the gun because we were in a fight. And I got to drive us out of the first fight we were in because I thought I'd be better served there.
Well, I believe that is called wisdom there, Mark. That is playing to your strengths.
Yeah, there's part of me that was like, I don't want to be viewed as being chicken shit.
No, you made sure you lived, which is the more important thing.
You did man shit.
Yeah.
I feel like there was like, I didn't want to be looked at as scared. I wanted to be looked at as like, I had a moment of clarity. Like, hold on. I don't know what I'm doing with this fucking 50 cal in my hands right now, but if we switch spots, you probably know.
It's hard to put somebody with experience on the gun.
So here's a question. Did he get any confirms when you switched?
No, not that mission. No.
Well, not any confirms, but I'm saying he's pretty sure he.
Oh, dude, he did his thing. He laid down suppressive fire, and we fucking drove out of there with everybody. No, like we didn't have one casualty.
So that's fucking awesome.
But I mean, either way, the goal was winning, and you won because you're here still. So
No, that's pretty true.
And hopefully some of them aren't.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the guy we just watched, Sergeant First Class Paul Smith, I've been to Fort Leonard Wood many times. Like I said, that's where engineers grow up. And when we go to advanced leadership course or senior leadership course or anything like that, that's where we go. And one of his uniforms is in the very front of that museum. And then there's the pictures of him and stuff. So I was familiar with him before I found the videos. And so when I looked him up to see if I could see, because that last video was just kind of an explanation of George Bush reading the citation kind of a thing. I wanted to see if I could find a video that kind of displayed the actions that took place. And I won't play the whole thing if you guys don't want me to.
I want you to.
But it's hilarious because it's like old school graphics from like Wolfenstein 3D type, old first person shooter type games. That somebody put the time and effort in reenacting this scenario using the kind of images that we saw on video games 20 years ago. Which I think was hilarious, but it also adds some oomph to the story of what happened. Hold on. What's up, man?
The task force radioed Sergeant Smith and told him to find a secure spot to hold some Iraqi prisoners. After a quick recon, he found one, an abandoned courtyard. Then he called in an ace so we could breach a hole in the wall and build our holding cage.
Once Sergeant Smith's Hollinshead and Pelletier confirmed the courtyard was clear, Smith sent me and Private Martins to guard the metal gate.
We need to clean out these corners and string up some wire. Let's get moving.
Right, Sergeant. The courtyard had these walls, about 8 to 10 feet tall. It was a triangular-shaped courtyard, and inside we wanted to string concertina wire across the corner and use it for a holding cage. Now, the far end had a steel gate, and there was a tower outside of the walls on the near side. We were going to use that for guard purposes.
Hey, I see something. Outside the gate. Sergeant Smith, come look. We got about 15, 20 Iraqis.
Iraqi special forces were pouring out of a barracks building behind the courtyard.
In a matter of minutes, we started taking incoming fire from the small arms and RPGs.
Sergeant Smith, there's more!
Now we saw like 50, and it just escalated to the point that we realized that we were getting swarmed.
Sergeant Smith went over to look. He and some of the other guys threw hand grenades over the wall to take out some of the Iraqis. After that, more RPGs and small arms fire started going on.
Tell the Bradley there's 50 enemies with RPGs! No, it looks more like 100! We're in a world of hurt.
Back outside the courtyard, we were firing on the tower because the Iraqis had taken it.
That's when the Bradley came through. popped the Cub through the gate and drove right over it, put his vehicle outside the gate the whole way, and started shooting.
Sergeant Smith and Keller went outside the gate and started firing.
We couldn't fall back. We had to hold our positions and fight these Iraqis off. There were about 120, 150 Iraqi Special Republican Guards. We were getting ambushed.
The enemy attempted to gain contact with us using some of the terrain that they owned, the tower and the walls. First Sergeant Campbell told me he needed a fire team. I quickly put together 2 gunners and another rifleman. We approached the tower. When we got to within 25 feet from it, they started opening fire on us.
The front of the tower had a window that was large enough to fire out, but you couldn't get any fire into it. We still had to reinforce the gate. That's when Sergeant Smith radioed to the other side of the compound.
Burwell, Yetter! We need your APC at the gate!
Sergeant Burwald came up in his track and started engaging.
RPGs began bombarding. Mortars began landing 15 meters away. Hill was feeding Sergeant Burwald 50 caliber rounds and continued providing suppressive fire.
Then the track was struck by a mortar.
Medic! Medic! We're hit!
The Bradley was out of ammo and left to get more. The M113 was a critical platform for the 50 cal, and we had lost that weapon. We were down to 3 or 4 guys with rifles at that open gate.
We didn't have any kind of infantry support. M113s, Bradleys, none of that. We were in deep trouble.
Sergeant Smith, we gotta kill that tower! We need the APC over there!
Seaman, get me a driver!
I got up in the driver's seat. He sent me backwards and parked me more to the middle of the courtyard. He told me to keep my head down till he called for ammo.
Whenever you hear the gun go quiet, just feed me another box of ammo! Get those wounded out of here!
Sergeant Smith fired on 3 positions. One position where Iraqis were coming over a wall. You had the steel gate, and they were trying to come through there. And then you had the tower. He'd engage one, and then they'd go away. And then he'd go to the next one. That was the only way we could move on the tower, and that was the key.
He knew the 50 cal was the only thing keeping us alive and holding the enemy back. He also knew he had to keep it going no matter what the cost. He didn't care what that was.
He was outnumbered about 100 to 20, and he didn't stop. He fought back. He was the largest weapon system firing against overwhelming enemy odds. He didn't quit. We couldn't have evacuated the wounded without him. After we had taken the tower, Sergeant Smith's machine gun stopped. I thought he was just reloading his machine gun, but...
Sergeant Smith! Sergeant Smith! He's hit!
You're muted, Mark.
I thought that was a fun video. At least it's PS1 graphics. Yes, that definitely reminds me of like PS1 era.
Yeah, it was definitely better than like Wolfenstein.
Yeah, that's like as soon as I saw it, it was like the first Metal Gear Solid. Like I have great memories of that game. Yeah, it's a solid.
Right. So I was searching for a video that kind of displayed what happened when Sergeant First Class Paul Smith, defended everybody and killed up to 50 Iraqi fighters with the 50 cal, and then he took a headshot and died. And that was the only video that I could find that like showed the battle, and gotta love it. Whoever took the time and effort to make that video, hats off to you. Greatly appreciate your efforts.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Because clearly this was made like back in the 90s. That was a lot of work back then.
Well, so he got killed in 2003.
Oh, okay. Well, early 2000.
Because it was in Iraq. So I don't know when that video was made, but I love it. It's just great.
Imagine being able to build an app with your...
They worked with the technology they had.
Yes, they did. Fun video indeed. Appreciate you guys hanging out for that. Anybody have any other comments or input on some of the historical videos from military events and Medal of Honor recipients from the month of April before we move on to current events?
That's good. Nope.
Apparently, Eric has a comment.
Water timer does.
And apparently, I know water.
All right. So first things first. Let's go to the old Googs and say how many U.S. military are deployed right now. All right, so what I'm getting is just in the Middle East, the old Master Google is saying that over 50,000 are deployed just in the Middle East.
Yeah.
So we've been doing this for many a months. Like a few months ago, you guys remember, there was around 150,000 deployed, 6 months ago?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we're looking at 221,000. So the amount of troops deployed right now has risen significantly.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, or actually anybody, does anybody know if we officially have boots on the ground in Iran yet?
Well, they got.
So I heard there was a Marine Division and the 81st or 82nd Airborne.
Okay.
I heard that those two units were deploying, but I have not heard anything like confirming that they are there.
Gotcha. Well, pray for our boys.
Somebody got that second pilot out.
Yes. Well, we're going to talk about the pilot here in a minute.
Well, yeah, combination. Usually, I know Air Force Pararescue does a lot, but there were probably a combination of whoever was there.
I mean, the thing is, Bennett, it could have been a lot of Persian assist because, like, they don't even want to. They don't like their government. So
there's Army, Navy.
They
Air
still
Force,
need to hand them to someone.
Marine, Coast Guard, and Space Force.
Yeah, there was. I know the 82nd got the order to prepare, but then the Navy ship with the whole, deployment of Marines on board and the hovercraft and all that. I know that's on its way. I don't know if it's in the Suez Canal right now, or if they're already at the mouth of the Gulf.
Because I saw a video earlier, and that it was of Persians helping the first pilot. Friendly Persians. So I mean, there's a lot of them. Like most Persians do not want the government that they're under. So
not even a little.
Yeah.
All right.
Which I mean, our job is just to keep it that way.
I told you guys we would talk about the pilot issue here in a minute, but you guys really want to talk about it right now.
Sorry, Mark.
Oh, let's go to that. Let's go to that first.
My bad.
No, you're good.
I mean, seeing the rescue effort. I mean, you've got there were A-10s running around strafing. They had attack helicopters and then a C-130 to refuel the helicopters. They're all flying low level around and around. That's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Iranian officials placing a bounty on the head of the second
here's the C-130
member
refueling.
lost after an F-15E fighter jet was downed over enemy territory. Search and rescue teams working through the night, but the clock is ticking, and with every passing hour, this search becomes more consequential. President Trump stopping short of saying how the U.S. will respond if our airman is captured by Iran. Retired Air Force Brigadier General John Tykert is a former F-15E combat pilot. He joins us now. General, thank you for being here. I want to get in on, I want to talk to you a little bit about the F-15E. It's the workhorse of the Air Force. But first, let's address, with every passing hour, this gets more difficult. What can you tell us?
Griff, the first thing that aircrew member would have done when they hit the ground is to assess how they're doing. They would have gathered up their supplies and they would have gotten away from their landing site so that they could find a place to hunker down and hide as they communicate to our rescue forces. And while there is a little bit of concern about the duration of time since they got shot down, I actually think it's net favorable because they're falling back on their training. They've found a good place that clearly has indicated they haven't been captured by the adversary. And now the forces are just trying to find the right time and the right way based on the terrain and the disposition of enemy forces to rescue our downed crew member.
That's a great point, and we can show you a map of where we believe that F-15E went down in the Khuzestan region. But of course, that Zagros mountain range, very difficult terrain to navigate. But because of the pilot's SEER training, the survival and evasion tactics he's learned, hopefully has gotten him to a place where he can wait for the CSAR teams to go in there. But I want to ask you about the fact that this F-15E was shot down. And then, of course, in a separate incident, that A-10 Warthog down near the Strait of Hormuz. Does that challenge the Pentagon's claims that we have this air superiority?
Griff, I think it's important to realize that the American military makes the extremely complex and difficult.
I just got to say, the newscaster guy mentioned his SEER training. I am absolutely shocked that this news reporter right here not only knows what the fuck SEER training is,
but he knows what it is.
Mentioned it. Because those of you that don't know, SEER training is what is an intense training that you go under to help you, because you fight how you train, right? You build muscle memory. You fight how you train, right? SEER training trains you how to act if you get captured by enemies. And so it's SEER, S-E-R-E, survive, evade, resist, and escape. S-E-R-E, survive, evade, resist, escape. And so the fact that this reporter mentioned his fucking SEER training in a report, I was shocked.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be covered in the video, Mark. I haven't heard any official talk about how they were shot down to begin with. Maybe they'll be covering this. I'm not sure.
I went through SEER training when I was with the Special Forces group in Panama.
Right.
It's a rough course.
So aren't you shocked that this fucking news reporter guy just mentioned it?
Yes. You have to sign a waiver to go through SEER school.
Yeah. Because you are being fucking abused.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look easy. And in the last 5 weeks, it has not been an easy permissible.
Go ahead, Tim.
Well, and I think that as far as how he got shot down, I think I was watching a live stream that Ward Carroll did yesterday, and they were thinking that it was possibly an SA-6, which is a mobile surface-to-air missile battery, Soviet era, that got him.
That's what all the speculation I was hearing, Tim, but I hadn't heard any official reports.
Well, that's exactly it. There's nothing, and that was kind of why they did the live stream yesterday, because they waited a day for kind of the smoke to clear.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I figured it was some Russian tech because that's mainly what Iran's been using. So,
right.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
This is why we need
that A-10.
What's up?
Warthog down near the Strait of Hormuz. Does that challenge the Pentagon's claims that we have this air superiority?
Griff, I think it's important to realize that the American military makes the extremely complex and difficult. Griff, I think it's important to
hog down near the Strait of Hormuz. Does that challenge the Pentagon's claims that we was shot down? And then, of course, in a separate incident, that A-10 Warthog down near for the CSAR teams to go in there. But I want to ask you about the fact that this F-15E was shot down. And then, of course, in a separate incident, that A-10 Warthog down near the Strait of Hormuz. Does that challenge the Pentagon's claims that we have this air superiority?
Griff, I think it's important to realize that the American military makes the extremely complex and difficult look easy. And in the last 5 weeks, it has not been an easy, permissive environment. It is a determined adversary with extremely high quality threat systems. And I just think it's been a testimony that this is a very difficult mission and you never have complete air supremacy. And I actually think it highlights the fact that our forces are so amazing that it took 5 weeks before we saw a situation like this.
It's been 24 hours, General Teichert, since this happened, and the Pentagon has been silent. CENTCOM has been tight-lipped. What do you make of that?
Griff, I'm so happy to hear both the administration and the Pentagon and U.S. Central Command being so concerned about operational security. The only way this downed crew member is going to be recovered safely and the combat search and rescue forces are going to be safe in accomplishing their mission is if they fall back on their extensive training and there is exquisite operational security. We're seeing that out of all entities, and I'm happy to see it.
And just in the last 10 or 15 seconds I've got, these F-15Es play a critical role.
They do. They are multifunctional. They have air-to-air capability. They're very flexible in the type of targets that they can strike. I'm a proud F-15E Strike Eagle combat pilot, but those crews are incredible and their planes are as well.
Brigadier General John Teichert, thank you for your insight and have a great weekend.
Yeah, that shot, when they kept showing that little shot of the 2 helicopters refueling on that C-130. I mean, to loiter for long periods of time at low level like that is really hazardous. They were running around searching and they had to keep refueling, but you're muted.
Yeah, that's definitely making a huge target of yourself.
Yeah.
Plus,
I'm sure there are A-10s buzzing around as well, but I mean they've got shoulder-fired infrared, rockets that they could be popping, and they probably were. In fact, I think that's what got one of the A-10s. Yeah, that's a pretty hazardous situation to just
right. Well, and that kind of controlled low level flying is, I would imagine. I'm not a pilot. I would imagine that to be more difficult than just flying normally. There's a lot of precision you have to have a hose connected to another aircraft. And
for helicopters, especially the F-130 is flying as slow as it can, and the helicopters are flying as fast as they can.
And to be able to
you've got two of them, one on each hose at the ends of the wingtips.
Right, but maintaining the spacing to where you're not fucking pulling the hose out. I can't imagine how difficult level of flying that is. And so, much respect to them for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, well, Mark, I believe another cheers is in order. I mean, thankfully our boys are safe. We're not having another Black Hawk Down situation.
Oh, dude, yeah, that'd be terrible.
Yeah, but yeah,
thankfully the helicopters did get minor damage, and
yeah. I mean, literally, the Iranians were like just shooting them with guns.
Yeah, all I kept trying to say is, and this is why we need to bring in the kid. For anybody who doesn't know, the kid is the F-22.
Yeah. It might be time to seriously fuck some shit up.
We've been keeping the F-22.
We've been playing nice. It might be time to not play nice. But cheers to our boys. Thankfully, they're both safe.
That's the kid is a habitual line crosser. If anybody enjoys that channel, yeah,
habitual line crosser is freaking legend, man.
But as Sean just implied, when that video was made, they had not found both of the pilots on board, and as of now, we've heard reports in the chat that both of them have been found and they're both safe. So
apparently, Trump announced it.
Yeah,
that's absolutely fantastic. Cheers to that.
Yep.
Well, it's interesting because he must have been, hiding out, because I'm not sure what the current level of technology is on their beacons, whether it's pinging a GPS coordinate or what. But I mean, because the people who are looking for them on the other side could get those frequencies and try to find them from the beacon as well. So
all that's being reported is that they were recovered by U.S. Special Forces.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. So they tagged some SF dudes to go in there and pull them out.
So that answers the question. Boots are on the ground.
That's also a thing.
Yeah,
But
at least to some degree,
you can also guess who it is, because we've talked about the different roles of different special forces units before. If you're talking about targeters, you're talking about CIA, stuff like that. If you're talking about a group of really intelligent, well-trained people to gather up people of that country to teach them to fight for themselves instead of our guys dying over there, that's Green Berets all day. If you're talking about a bunch of 21-year-old door kickers going in and fucking killing a bunch of bad guys, that's the Rangers.
I was going to say
Rangers.
Rangers.
Something like this, where you're doing hostage extraction, rescue things, or kill a specific target, that's fucking SEALs.
Yep. Yeah, well, and Air Force Pararescue is set up for that too.
Air Force
or Delta Force.
If they pulled our guy out of Iran, it was SEALs.
It was probably SEALs.
Well, I mean, in fairness to your point that you were making there, Mark, I mean, CIA was there before even the first bomb drop, but
CIA
was there for the last 40 years.
Well, they've been there. Yeah.
They just live there. They just hang out. They just.
Well, I know just when it first started, there were rumors that they were, and then he kind of backtracked on that. Trump did, that they were working with. Green Berets were working with, and CIA were working with the Iraqi Kurds and their neighbors, the Iranian Kurds, to which goes all the way back to the, early
back
90s.
to fucking forever, because those countries have always been at war.
Yeah, I mean our collaboration with the Kurds goes back to the Desert Storm in 1990. So
yeah. Can't forget about Delta Force either. Those boys kick ass.
Yeah,
maybe, 100%.
Maybe we should just leave the Middle East alone. Just a thought.
Just a fucking thought. And they were at war with each other long before we were even here. Long before America was a country. Like back in biblical days, the Middle East was just constantly at war with each other. Just saying, we're not going to fix it.
Yeah, literally just read the Bible and you'll get a pretty good sense of it.
I have seen it firsthand. Us being there does not make it better. I'm just saying. But
and those disagreements.
There's a lot going on with Iran right now. There's a lot going on in that part of the country. But there is a new military news thing that just came out, I think, yesterday. Would you, camera? So I think it was just yesterday.
You're just too sexy, Mark. It can't control itself.
Check this out. I'm gonna let you guys watch it, soak it in, tell me what you guys think, and then I will get on my fucking soapbox on this one.
Oh boy. Let's see it. What do we got here?
All right, a live look at the White House. While we're talking about Secretary Hegseth, let's talk about some other Hegseth headlines. Secretary Hegseth earlier today saying that he will allow service members to carry personal weapons onto military installations, citing the Second Amendment and recent shootings at bases across the country. He said, our military installations have been turned into gun-free zones, leaving our service members vulnerable and exposed. That ends today. He posted this video.
Wait.
Our great republic was founded on a simple yet bold idea. Our rights as citizens are not granted to us by government, but instead by God. 250 years ago, the Revolutionary War was fought to secure our God-given rights. The Second Amendment to our Constitution enshrines the right of all citizens to carry weapons to protect themselves, their families, and their fellow countrymen. The War Department's uniformed service members are trained at the highest and unwavering standards. These warfighters, entrusted with the safety of our nation, are no less entitled to exercise their God-given right to keep and bear arms than any other American. Our warfighters defend the right of others to carry. They should be able to carry themselves. Recent events like what happened at Fort Stewart, Holloman Air Force Base, or Pensacola Naval Air Station have made clear that some threats are closer to home than we would like. In these instances, minutes are a lifetime, and our service members have the courage and training to make those precious short minutes count. Before today, it was virtually impossible. Most people probably don't know this. It was virtually impossible for War Department personnel to get permission to carry and store their own personal weapons aligned with the state laws where we operate our installations. I mean, effectively, our bases across the country were gun-free zones. Unless you're training or unless you are a military policeman, you couldn't carry, you couldn't bring your own firearm for your own personal protection onto post. Well, that's no longer. The memo I'm signing today directs installation commanders to allow requests for personal protection to carry a privately owned firearm, with the presumption that it is necessary for personal protection. If a request is for some reason denied, the reason for that denial will be in writing and will explain in detail the basis for that direction. Again, the presumption is service members will be able to have their Second Amendment right on post.
So, Mark, I saw this. I didn't have a chance to watch it. I would love for military. This is a thing I didn't even know was happening. So, military guys, how long has this been happening? That on base you're not allowed to carry your firearm. This is wild to me.
If you were carrying it, it would be unloaded because
No, Ben, no.
Okay.
If you carry your personally owned weapon on base because you are in the barracks, you're an unwed service member that lives in the barracks, you have a privately owned firearm, you have to register it with the provost marshal, and then you have to check it in with your company arms room and lock it in the arms room at your company headquarters. And so if you want to take it out to go hunting or go to the range, you have to request it through your fucking company commander and have the unit armorer open the arms room and fill out the paperwork to release your privately owned weapon to you for you to go out to the range or to go hunting. And then that armorer has to open the arms room for you to give your weapon back to him, because you can't have a fucking weapon in the barracks. Absolutely not. And so as a married military service member, if I want to bring my weapon on base because there's a shotgun range on base that has skeet shooting or whatever the fuck, I have to take all the paperwork and fill it all out and have it registered with the provost marshal. And I can't carry it on base. I'm taking it to the range and then taking it back off base. But my dad is one of the guys that pointed out to me how hilarious it is that when I go to church, when I go to the grocery store, when I pick up my kids from school, everywhere I go, I carry, except for when I go to work on the Army base, I'm not allowed to.
Yeah, that's insane. Like,
I'll
just say it, like, as a citizen, knowing nothing about this world, I just assumed that you guys were allowed to carry on base. Like, that just makes sense in my mind.
So what I was referring to, what I had always understood was that at least the ammo was always locked up. But I didn't know even the firearms were. I knew about, in the armory, all the, I forget what it's called. There's specific name for the guy who handles
So the ammo holding area, the AHA, is where all the ammo is. At the companies of every brigade, every division, every battalion, at the company headquarters building is where there's a vault where it has every service member's personally assigned weapon in the vault. The only time the service member gets that weapon, my M4, my M9, the 249, the 240, the M2, the Mark 19, whatever weapon that you are responsible for in your squad or your team or you as an individual, those are all locked up in the arms room every single fucking day unless you are training or going to the range.
So I have a question. So has this always been true, or was there a time
always.
where this
fucking always?
Like,
but I can't. I'm not. I'm only 44 years old. I can't speak to before my own fucking knowledge. I don't know what it was like back in World War I type era, but as I know, in my history in the military, it has always been a thing to where your company assigned weapon is in the company arms room, and you only get said weapon when you're doing weapons training or you're going to the range. And so every time you're on base walking around, you don't have a fucking weapon on you.
No.
So all right. So Jerry's got a few years on you. So that it was the same when you were in, Jerry?
Yep. It was the same in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, it was
if you watch Band of Brothers, they never have a weapon on them when they're on base running fucking Currahee.
Yeah, unless if you were a guard or a law enforcement. Of course,
if you're not military police or base security, you don't have a weapon on you on base.
Nope.
See, maybe that's where this comes from, because like my grandfather was military police. He was a Marine MP. So like I have a lot of pictures of him on base with his weapon, but that's the context. So
the MPs are MPs. So you can be under arms to where if you don't have to be an MP to be under arms if you're guarding something.
Yeah.
Like, so when I came back from deployment, our armorer had to be under arms, so he had to have a loaded weapon with him to escort our weapons back to the company, because you can't have just one dude in a truck with 173 rifles in the back and have him take it back from the airstrip to the company headquarters, right? Yeah. So he was under arms. But the MPs, of course, they're armed. The gate security guards, they are armed. But other than that, nobody on fucking base is armed. So that's why when that shit went down in Texas, where that major started shooting people and he shot like fucking 19 people before he got taken out, that's fucking why. Because nobody else had a gun.
That is crazy to me. That's just... it's hard to even fathom that.
I'm sure somebody did something stupid many, many years ago. And
the reason why most rules exist is because somebody fucked something up.
Something stupid.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that every single person needs to be armed, but it feels like we need more people in the right positions to be armed to make sure.
Right. So that's what Hegseth was talking about. He was saying Hegseth was talking about that. The people like me who would say, I want to be one of the people that are carrying in case we need some force protection in the base. So I submit the request to my commander. He approves it, and bliggity blammo, I can carry my personal weapon.
Did you submit it yet?
No, not yet. I found out about this yesterday while I was in Montana, so I haven't submitted it yet. But I will. Well, Aaron's fucking T. I'm going to be asking my command team how I go about submitting
on Monday.
yeah. I mean, I would say we probably don't want our boot camp boys being armed in case they have a bad day and get angry.
Absolutely not.
Well, there's no reason they can't have some kind of thing equivalent to a civilian CCW training required.
Correct. Yes. So you saw Hexa said base commanders, blah blah blah, discretion, and so I would not be surprised if some base commanders that were in charge of the post, like the post commanders, if they said people that want to carry have to go to said class or whatever, just like when you're going to get your concealed weapons permit or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if that kind of stuff happened, but at least that is a fucking ticket to progression, because right now when I go to work on the Army bases, the only time in my life where I do not have one of my personal firearms within arm's reach of me. It's the only time.
CCW is a combination of training and a background check.
Yeah.
So if you're a fuck up, sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
And like Sean said, it's crazy to think about that. And my father was like, it's funny to think that you can go to the grocery store, to your kid's school, and to church and all these other places, but the only place you can't carry your weapon is on the Army base.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to me as a civilian. I never even thought about this, but just the idea that the men and women that are fighting for our Constitution are not allowed to carry on base. That is,
it's wild, right? And so
crazy. Yeah.
I'm gonna pour one more glass of this April 1 before we move on to the next subject, just because I told Troy at Genuine Spirits Company I would highlight some April 1 because it's the month of April.
There you go.
And Troy's a great dude. He came on and did that interview with me. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. But cheers to that, and hopefully Hegseth is gonna make some more just common sense things like this come to fruition, because I didn't even have this on my radar as something that they were gonna fix this term, and so I love it.
Yeah, this is a win for sure. Yeah, cheers. Also, water time.
Get some water.
Now, if only they'd fix it for those of us who are in communist states.
Oh, dude, absolutely, Ben, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of issues I'm having with the current administration, but if we could just get the win of the Second Amendment is just across the states, I don't care what state you're in. Full A2 across every state.
One of my favorite things is that I have a CCW and it's not recognized in my own home state.
That's so stupid, man.
That is the one thing I love about Iowa. We're an open carry state.
So Washington being as liberal.
Hell yes, Jerry. Hell yes.
Washington State is very left-leaning, very democratic, and we are still an open carry state. So where you don't need a CCW, but I fucking have a CCW because I'm not advertising that I'm carrying one. Absolutely not.
So, Mark, I'm sorry to detract. I know you're trying to move on to the next thing. Are there restrictive gun laws in Washington, or are they pretty liberal in that regard?
So it's an open carry state. All you have to do is pay your $58 and do a fingerprint scan and show that you are not a convicted felon or have domestic on your record, and you can get a CCW. But a couple of years ago, they did pass the magazine capacity law to where they don't allow high capacity magazines in the state anymore to be sold in the future. And so if you have high capacity magazines, you're fine if you bought them beforehand. But a couple years ago, they passed a high capacity magazine law to where they are no longer able to be sold in this state. So that is the most restrictive gun law in this state as of right now.
Gotcha. I mean, that's not bad comparatively. I mean,
no, it's not bad because you can still open carry. You can still have everything that was grandfathered in before that, and you can pay $58 as long as you don't have a domestic violence or a felony, and you can get a concealed carry permit just because you gave the state $58. They're pretty fucking dumb.
In California, we have CCW, but then the state keeps trying to pass these laws to make virtually everything a safe zone, making the CCW useless. But so far they're getting struck down.
The only safe zone I've seen here in Washington is Costco, where Costco says they're a private establishment. And
they're allowed to post. I mean, a private business is allowed to post that you're not allowed to carry.
Right. So Costco is the only place I've gone to where I've seen it publicized outside of the establishment that they do not allow you to carry in Costco. And I'd be like, what you see, you don't know, motherfucker.
I mean, hey, eventually all you guys will hopefully be Kentucky, because I don't even know what a CCW is. What would you use that for? like paperweight kind of situation. I don't know what.
So if you get stopped by a police officer and you get whatever, and they find out that you have a weapon on you that was not open and like
no, I know it's just this is not a thing in Kentucky. I know what it is.
So even in your car, that's if it's within arm's reach of you, it's considered a concealed weapon. If it's in your trunk or something, then you're just doing your thing.
What I'm saying is you don't need a license for that.
No, I get in Kentucky you don't need that, but
yeah.
You could wear it on your face if you want. Nobody gives a shit.
Well, the expensive part is the federal background check.
Yeah. I could go buy a gun tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow. It's Sunday. I could have bought it today at the flea market. I could have bought it today at the flea market.
But no, not tomorrow because it's Sunday. So you have your own restrictions.
It's the one day you can't go buy a gun.
You have your own restrictions.
But it's only because
have a good Easter break. It's breakfast for me. Yes, absolutely. He is risen indeed. Thank you guys all hanging out Easter weekend.
Cheers, James.
Much appreciation to you all. So before we move on to taps, we're going to do a quick AAR. We talked about current military news, things that are going on right now in the military. Had some great, awesome conversations. Greatly appreciate all you guys being here for that. We talked about some Medal of Honor recipients. We talked about historical events in the month of April. And we talked about the veteran whiskey of the month, Willies Distillery, the Legion Private Reserve. I have put a little hurting on this bottle since we've been chatting tonight.
Yes, sir.
So if you guys are not familiar with Willies Distillery, they are in Montana, combat veteran. He was a Ranger, went Special Forces medic. I'm trying to get him on the show. I'd love to interview Willie. You guys know this brand because he was the one that made the Devil's Brigade. Freaking awesome whiskey and awesome story. And so, as you guys know the rules, we can have different spirits from the same distillery, but not showcase the same bottle twice.
There you
go.
Mark,
I make the rules. I make the rules and I follow them. There you go.
Hey, Mark, on your previous comment, just would like to further point out 1,993 years ago, and something like, it's hard to say exactly, but in the range of 4 to 6 hours ago is when Jesus was resurrected. Yeah, on this Sunday morning. This is because it doesn't always line up because the Jewish calendar and our current calendar are different. But this is one of the years where it lines up exactly. It is
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it is Sunday for Sunday to Sunday. It's same. So, yeah. Anyway, cheers, everybody.
I did not know that. Cheers. I appreciate all you guys being here. And as we drink this last glass, let's move on to the AAR.
Yes, sir.
So every month we do this Whiskey Club live stream where we talk about all these things going on in the military. We honor the fallen, significant events for the month, all that kind of thing. So when we do this again next month, what is something that we should for sure do again and uphold, sustain? And what is something that we should do different or do better? Hey, what's up, Matt? You're here late.
I thought it was a great show, Mark.
Yeah, we got to figure this new echo issue out. We definitely
But
I'm hoping, dude, Ben. I'm hoping that was a one-off because
I'm saying in the next month we can do some experimentation.
Yep. So this is the 36th episode. 36 times have I said check out this veteran-owned whiskey. 36 times, and this is the first time I've heard any echo issues. I'm really hoping it's a one-off.
I'm sure we will have enough drams together in the next month that we'll have time to experiment and make sure that it doesn't happen next month.
I hope so as well.
Yeah, we'll have to do a backstage situation, just kind of test some things out between now and then.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, so echo, what the fuck? Got it.
Yep.
Outside of that, though, great show, Mark. It was good stuff, man.
Anybody else have any after action review type comments of things that we should do the same or things that we should do differently? On the panel or in the chat. Guys in the chat, go ahead, jump in. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you're thinking of. If nobody has anything else, then I'm going to move on to taps because I've got to take a leak and I got to take the dogs out. So if nobody else has any after action review comments, then we're going to cut it off.
No, I'm pretty good.
I believe we have the all clear, Mark.
Roger that. Backblast area clear. All right, guys. Thank you very much for being here. Remember, everyone deployed. All those within your circle of influence, be a good influence on them. Try to make sure you're drinking more water than whiskey because you can't take care of others if you're not taking care of yourself. Roger that. And if you guys that are here right now know of any veterans that need people to talk to, let them know that there's people that are like-minded individuals that have been to those places, that have been down in those foxholes, that have been down in those deep, dark areas, and they've dug themselves out, and they want to just sit back and have a glass of whiskey with you. Just like if you're walking into an American Legion or a VFW or something, our generation doesn't really do that. We do this online, but a lot of people don't know that we do this here. So please help me spread the word and get more of those veterans to come here and know that there's other people that they can hang out with and drink with and not have to go anywhere and worry about getting a DUI or anything like that. You know, and you don't have to drink alone. Don't just sit there and get blasted playing Xbox all night. No. Come hang out, chat with us. We can share stories. And once again, I thank you guys all for being here. Remember, everyone deployed?
Sir.
Much love. If you guys want to join the backstage, we're gonna BS for a little bit in the back room, and filtered, unrecorded.
Ben Demon Hunter, cheers to your dad, man.
Yep, absolutely.
And Red, yeah.
All right. Good night, guys.